I wonder when this thing goes live. Does it go live immediately or does it go live once the screen fades away? I'm not sure. Anyways, welcome. We already got some people joining, and we're really excited tonight, me and Brickanista, to host a update after week one of the hashtag Daily Bricklimit Challenge. I'm going to send a couple of waves hello to everybody here, to Rick Brickham, to Ari Kovac. Thank you for joining. It has been an incredible week. It's hard to believe that it's only been 7 days, because this thing has gone from something that 3 or 4 of us did for fun back in August to something that's been like really building some fun community and unleashing a lot of really cool creativity that, like, obviously Instagram Lego builders are a really, really creative batch. But I mean, I'm seeing some things that people are coming up with that I've never seen people do in Lego before. And it's really, pushing the boundaries and open the doors. And I think that's really neat. We're going to have Brickanista join us here in just a second. Welcome, Chaz. There she is. Hello, hello. Let me see if I can get her added.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. How are you?
I am so excited too. I can't even
Cool.
describe it.
That's awesome.
We got a few people watching already too.
Awesome. I look kind of dark. I'm going to brighten myself up a little.
Hmm.
There we go.
Awesome. Well, we're glad
Yes,
that people are tuning
hello,
in.
Jazz89, Rick Brickham. This has been the best challenge so far. So awesome to see everyone's builds. Yes, I
I was just
agree.
saying, I can't believe that it's only been like that we're only a week into this
One
because it's,
week. I know. It's crazy. It's
yeah, for
so
sure.
exciting.
Yes, for sure. It's been a great challenge. It's been awesome to see everyone's builds, and that's been the joy of it for me, has been to open the hashtag up and see somebody who built something with 5 bricks and took the photo in just the right angle that it actually makes me stop and go like, wow, you know?
Well, also your grip E, that made me
Oh,
laugh so hard. Just
thank
the way
you.
you put the paper clip or whatever wire thing that you had.
Yeah, I have a little
I've been,
box of music themed paper clips, and I was like, that
oh,
would be perfect.
Lego Stead, so much fun. Yes, I'm so glad people are having fun with this too,
I,
because we had fun in August and we're saying we got to share this with more people.
I was
Oh,
thrilled to
Brickman's
see one of
here.
your to see Super Sewer Baby return earlier this week. That
Yes,
was
he
fun.
did return. In fact, I have him right here. So for those of you who missed my super sewer baby, he's now got this methane powered snakehead mobile hovercraft. So
It's
yes.
crazy, and that's like one of the things. There's some specific builds that'll come to mind. Tonight that we'll probably bring up, but like there's some things that literally I can't even think have ever been conceived of before. Like when Tricky
Hmm.
Bricks did their scuba tar, and when Boone did
Oh
his
yeah.
Trident chucks. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
these are
That's
things that
Boone
have like
Builds.
no creative precedent that are just getting come up with on the spot that are so crazy. So it's
Yeah, and
cool.
people have been taking their builds outdoors, and that's been fun too. That I saw one person who did the Elsa Duplo doll and put it outside with two snowflakes in the snow. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, wow, that's dedication. So I really appreciate that. And another one where it's in a flower pot and there's flowers growing up. So yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I would love to spend most of our time actually getting to talk about some of the cool things that we've seen so far, because that's
Hmm.
what's really important to both of us so far. But
Right.
before we get too far into it, I did just want to review the reminders for the prize eligibility for everybody. So anybody that
Hmm.
tunes into this later can just get a quick reminder up front that there are 3 prizes that you can be in the running for with this. And Brickanista was the first one to say, you know what, let's put a couple of prizes up. And she's got the Mario box right below. That's one of the prizes. And then there is the Duke Kaboom Stunt Show as a prize. and the Lego City Barbecue Burnout is also a prize. And to be eligible for the prize, we want you to follow the two of us so that we can keep up with you and you can keep up with us. Also to tag 3 friends on your first post, but if you miss that on your first post, you can tag 3 friends in the next post. But there are some people that have really gotten into this that didn't know about it until they got tagged on day 5 or 6 or something. So the follows, tagging 3 friends, hashtagging your posts so that we can follow them. And I'll talk about that more in a second. But then also complete just at least 10 days of the challenge. And that's actually coming up really fast. We're we just finished day 7. So if you can make it 3 more days and you've done the other things, then you're eligible and we'll put your name in for a drawing.
Right, you don't have to keep going, but some people are interesting. They're completionists because they may have jumped in on day 4 and then they went and did days 1, 2, and 3. So, you know, we haven't required you to do that. So for those of you who just joined and you're on day 7, don't feel like you have to go back and do 6 more. Just keep going and make sure you get 10 within the month.
That's been another cool thing that I've liked seeing is the people that joined on day 5 or 6 and they're like, I'm going back to do days 1 through 5. And again, it's not required. It's also not required to, you know, use the same pieces every day, but I've seen some really cool things. Again, it's really whatever you want it to be, but I've seen some cool stuff from people that have been like, okay, the piece I used on day 1, like, is going to track through the whole way. And they add a piece to what existed the day before. And it really, very cool. KK Bricks is doing that with his, like, the plant that's growing, and like it really builds some anticipation into it.
Well, Chief Brick Geek is also doing that because he started with just a shovel. That was his first piece, and then he started adding more tools, and then added a lantern, and then added a gem. So, you know, it's interesting. It's like, what's next? Are you going to continue that storyline, or are you going to try something new? So Chaz 609, you still need to do day 1. You don't need to do day 1. That's really up to you. You just have to do 10 within the month. So don't feel like you have to go do day 1.
And I'll be honest, like, part of that was my own experience back in August when we did this the first time. Like, even though, I mean, Brickham and I are running this now, like, I didn't even complete every day back in August. And I'm doing my best. I'm going to do all 30 days, has September, April, June, and November. I'm going to do all 31 builds this time around. But, like, we didn't want people to feel pressured to do all of them. You know, we didn't want to say, like, oh, you did 30 days instead of 31. We're not putting your name in the drawing or something like that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we wanted it to be approachable. And there's going to be times where, for example, I have this app, which is a language program. I'm not going to name names, but it's like they send you alerts if you miss a day. And then they say, oh, you used your freeze or your streak is up. And it's like, you know, I have other things going on in my life. I'm sorry I didn't, you know, work on my little language app. So we didn't want people to feel that, you know, if you miss a day that you're out. We just want you to do 10 builds in the month to qualify.
And they don't have to be consecutive. You know, like, we're not going to pop in like certain language apps do and be like, what are you doing? What happened to your day 5? This is Joriel Builds here, and we're wondering where your day 5 is.
Right. It's been fun. Also, people have been commenting on each other's builds, which has been a lot of fun. That's part of the reason why we chose Instagram too, because what's nice about the hashtag is that you can see what everybody is doing, and then you can give each other feedback, which I just think is so much fun, because I have seen people also from around the world. One person who is in Australia says, oh, well, I'm a day ahead, so I'm actually doing day 7 today. And it's just been fun just seeing the worldwide support of this little project. It's been a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, for sure. Just waving hello to everybody that's joining us now.
Yes.
I've loved seeing all the cross connection happening. I've loved seeing people that, like, joined Instagram, and then this is the first thing that they did after they joined Instagram. And some other people that were, like, new to Lego as a hobby, as an adult, that were, like, tuned in just in time. That's like, this is helping them build up their adult Lego ability and stuff like that. That cross connection, the commenting that's happening, that's, I mean, like, we're doing our best to comment on everything that we see because we love the creativity and we love how positive the community is. And it's not something that we can't always keep up with every post. So we love that, like, you all have been generating the comments and the positivity and the reinforcement amongst each other because, try as we might, we can't always keep up with everything. So we're going to do our best, but really, really reach out to the other builds that you see, no matter how they use their 6 bricks, and just really encourage each other because it's like the most wholesome thing in the world right now.
Oh, yeah. We've been getting comments too that families have been coming together to do the Daily Brick Limit Challenge, which has been a lot of fun to see. And that other people have said that it's been so great to have something positive, especially with all the chaos happening right now in the world. So we really appreciate that you are interested in this. And Aubrey, thank you so much. That's so sweet. She says, you guys are amazing.
You
It's
guys
like,
are amazing. That's why this
I
is
was going to say it's
happening.
everybody here because we were doing this as a little project back in August, and I really wanted to do this again in January. So I was really glad when I reached out to Joriel Builds. I said, "Hey, are you going to run this again? I would love to see it again." So thank you so much, everybody. Oh, look, we got hearts too. Thank you for the hearts.
Yay.
Yeah.
It's been going really well. And I to just share a little bit about what it was like for me. We did day 1, day 2. I think day 3, let's see, this was 7. Day 3 was like my first or second day back at work. And just some of the highlights that have happened. 4 Lego Masters from Lego Masters US are participating with this. Lots of other really, really cool designers like Jake Sadovich, who did the ship in a bottle, is doing this with us. Flynn from Flynn and Richard from Lego Masters had one of their builds from Daily Brick Limit reposted on Instagram by Matthew Ashton, who is the VP of design for Lego.
I know. How cool was that?
Like one of my friends, Commodore, who you've seen do some of the builds for this challenge so far. If you see someone with Commodore in their name, that's a friend of mine. He messaged me and he's like, "So what's going on with all of this?" And I like explained, like, we did this back in August, but we wanted to do it again. And he said, like, the way he said it was, "I think this is as big as you could have hoped for by day 3 for it to get."
Yes.
And like, I was like, dude, this exceeded my expectations by far. So
definitely. And that's why we just are so thankful that everybody has been, so excited about this. And I just wanted to thank everybody too for some of the personal stories that people have been posting. Like one that came to mind was a 7 brick build of a tribute to her daughter. And it was just nice because it was her birthday and she said all the 7 things that she loved about her daughter. And it was just so heartwarming. And it made me think, wow, we're helping just a little bit to help promote some goodwill in the community. So it was just definitely a lot of fun to watch.
It's been a lot of goodwill, and it's also been, just to speak to that, one of my favorite comments I've seen so far was Floofy on either day 2 or day 3. Her build was about grounding and about keeping yourself centered when you feel like you're, hello, Remy.
Remy's here.
Staying centered and grounded when you feel like things are losing control. And she was spreading some like self-care awareness. And one of her comments on somebody's post was about how unalone she felt right now doing this. And
so nice.
My response was like, it's hard to feel alone when you're doing Lego Instagram, because everybody is just building and sharing wholesome, positive vibes. And all the commenting that you guys are doing is so encouraging to one another and so heartwarming for me to see. Because like Brickanista said, like, things are crazy. And seeing somebody post a picture of a Lego ice cream cone and get 10 people telling them how wonderful it is just like so wholesome and inspiring right now.
Right. Right. And the other thing too, people have been raising awareness about some nonprofit organizations, which has been awesome. And I've been just looking at also some people have been posting parts that I've never seen before. And everybody that has been posting, even the individual like one part builds, you're just saying, where did you find that part? Where's that from? So that's been also nice to see. And I'm sure some people are probably wondering, if you're wondering where this is from a Harry Potter set that I got from a bulk bin. So
Ooh, is
I
it like
was
a
like,
Chamber of
okay, I got to
Secrets
use
set?
that. What's that?
Is it like the Chamber of Secrets set or
Yeah,
something?
I think it's when Harry Potter is talking to the snakes. And I
Okay.
saw this and I said, okay. And there's studs on top, so Super Sewer Baby can ride on top. So that's how this was born. And just seeing the creativity and just the lightheartedness and fun about it is that, that's part of the reason why we're not judging people's artwork. We're not saying, at the end of this challenge, at the end of the month, we're going to pick, my top 3 that I thought were really good. We're just putting it in a random drawing because everybody's artwork is really great and we really love seeing that.
And it's all coming from such different angles too and different
Mm-hmm.
approaches. Which that's another thing is that not all, these builds can't necessarily go head to head about which is best or which is better. It's just like,
Right.
what does this build do really well? And that's one thing I wanted to hear your opinion on is some of the like techniques that I've
Mm-hmm.
personally never even seen before or even thought of that are like happening. Like I was commenting with somebody earlier, day one, right out of the gate, our friend Avernus Workshop, who's here right now, took his day one piece and held it up to a mirror and made
Yes,
it 2 pieces with one
made it a
brick.
heart. So we love that. Thank you, Remy.
It was a positive build, but it was also like I've never even thought about doing Lego with a mirror before to like
Yeah.
double the scale of it.
And I think he did it twice with his tree as
That was
well.
actually somebody else, like
Is that
somebody
somebody else who
else
did that?
that didn't even see what Remy did, built half of a tree because they joined. I think they joined the contest a little bit later.
Ah,
They built half of a tree without realizing that the heart build on day one, held that up to a mirror and made it a big tree out of like 5 or 6 bricks. I was like,
yeah.
this is somebody else who independently had the same idea. Let me do Lego with a mirror and I can double my build. Like, and I'm sitting here going, never in my 7 years of living have I even thought about like, oh, I could use a mirror in my build to expand it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's more techniques like that that are like Lego building ideas that are just
Mm-hmm.
like I've never even thought of before. So
It's fun to watch. And Rick Brickham was just mentioning here about how he loves the supportive community and that you look forward every day to what people are going to do. And I saw another comment where people are saying, I don't want to look at the posts yet until after I post mine because there's so many awesome builders and I feel intimidated by that. And you shouldn't feel intimidated. Really, this is artwork and it's a way for you to get your creative flow going within, whatever you're thinking in your head. And there's no judgment here. I mean, some people might say, how dare I put a baby on top of a snake head, right? I mean, some people might feel that way, but it's all in good fun and we want you to have fun with it. And the fact that people are looking forward to them every day. And some people, in fact, I'm going to call out Rob Zaccardi and his whole family. They are planning their builds out in the future. So they have their build set aside knowing what they're going to do in the next few days. So that's a lot of fun too.
I thought that was really sweet. He posted a photo of one of his daughters sitting down and plotting out, the rest of
Yeah,
the month what she wanted to do, and that was really, really sweet to see.
right.
Yeah,
Welcome, everybody.
you sometimes want to avoid being influenced on the one hand,
Mhm.
which I totally get that because I see some of the posts that have happened, um, and I'm just like, that's so impressive that they did that. Like the extinction of the dinosaurs build, where they took like a big rock
Mhm.
piece and 2 dinosaur pieces, and then a translucent red half dome. And the way they positioned it, it made it look like the asteroid impact was expanding, and it was just such a breathtaking
Yeah,
photo. Um,
and I
and at
love
the same
dinosaurs
time,
anyway.
it's also like we were talking about the pieces earlier, seeing pieces you've never seen before. Like
Hmm.
I'll be at like my day 7 build. I was like, oh, I can't think of anything. But then I was like, oh, Manny from Lego Masters had that water pail and it had that one piece, and I might have a piece that looked like that. And if I can
That
find
was
that in
so
my
cool.
collection, I can use that. Like, there is a little bit of inspiration that can come from seeing the builds that came before. So definitely check out what other people
Definitely.
did, because there's a lot of inspiration going on.
Yeah, I think too, Aubrey has says here, art is very subjective for sure. So I think what I've been very impressed with this community is that we've had a lot of very positive feedback. We haven't seen anybody, be very negative towards anybody who's a builder here. So we wanted to thank you for that. Keep up the positive comments. We're all here to, get through this pandemic and get through, a lot of the challenges in our life. And if we can just spend a little bit of time on our Lego and get that done. Don't stress out too, because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, it's 11:50 and I don't have my build yet done for the day. It's like, we know things are happening in your life. If you feel like you want to skip a day, that's okay. Or if you want to post it after midnight, that's okay. Just make sure that we know what your part limit is, because as we get farther in the month, it's going to be harder to know, is this day 21? Is this day 25? Because sometimes your parts are like axle pieces that are stuck inside. So if you could also, I think, tag your posts as we go through the months with the numbers too. Say day 20, this is my build. I think that most of you are doing that, but I just wanted to think that as we're not going to be there counting all the pieces, especially as we get closer to the end, but we want you to know that we appreciate all that you're doing.
I'm really glad that you said that. I'm going to second that. I'm going to promote that. And I'm going to, yeah, definitely for sure. Remember to put the number of the day or the bricks in your post somewhere, because already after 1 week, we're doing our best. But when we literally have people on opposite sides of the globe, people in Australia are going, here's my build 8. I'm like, I'm still in the middle of day 7. Like, it's going to get a little bit overwhelming to try to figure out what day exactly, but so just try to
Yeah.
remember to put it in your post if you can, and that would be super helpful.
Definitely. And yeah, so Laura Kay was talking about that. She likes to see the builds after as well. And yeah, we were talking about how the hashtag daily brick limit, daily brick limit is that what's nice about it is that you can go through it and see everybody's builds and comment on them. But it also, if you don't want to be influenced by that, then just focus on your build, post it, and then you can go look at the daily brick limit hashtag.
Another thing that will help is that we also have the Daily Brick Limit Lego Instagram account now. So if you go back to Instagram and type in @DailyBrickLimit, it is its own account now. We're commenting and we're running the challenge with our own accounts, but the Daily Brick Limit account is where you can really easily catch up on everyone's builds, because every time I get a build, I'm trying to post it to the story and then save it in highlight reels based on that day. So if you go to the account, if you haven't seen, there's a highlight reel for day 3, a highlight reel for day 5. And what that's also going to help you do is make sure that you are in the running for something, because we're doing our best to keep track of how many builds on what day everyone's doing. But if you go through the day 6 bricks highlight reel, and you're loving seeing everyone's 6 brick builds, but all of a sudden, wait a minute, my 6 brick build wasn't in there. We might have gotten overwhelmed at one point. So just send us a quick message at that account and be like, hey, @DailyBrickLimits, I just wanted to let you know I was looking through the 6 bricks highlights and I didn't see mine. So can you double check really quick and make sure you have me down for day 6? Because we want to make sure everyone's build counts. And that's going to be a good way for you to make sure that we are seeing your builds in addition to doing the hashtag.
Right. Yeah, Monica, you're asking about the Tricky Bricks Challenge. Yes, it's 5 p.m. Pacific time, so you still have another 40 minutes. So, no problem. And kind of going along with the highlights that are on the Daily Brick Limit Instagram account, I would encourage everybody to create their own highlight reel of their own builds too, which is very easy to do because you're used to posting where you hit the plus sign and you hit a post, but you can also hit the plus sign and highlight it as a highlight, create a new highlight mine's called 2021 Daily Brick Limit January, I think. So when I post anything, I also post it to my stories and then post it onto my highlight reel. And then that way I can go back to it once this challenge is over. You'll have that collection as well.
Yeah, so welcome, Brick Princess Buttercup. We're glad you're here. We've enjoyed seeing your builds. Ben's
Yes.
Bricks Designs, I had to sit down and figure it out too, because I've never used highlights until now. But basically, I was posting all the 6-brick builds to my story, and then I could create, from inside my story, I could create a new highlight called 6 bricks, and then add individually all the 6-brick ones, and then go back, I'll add all the 5-brick ones that I threw in between to the 5 bricks highlight. It's been super helpful. And if you want to make your own highlight on your own account featuring your own posts, that would also be great. You know, not just for us to catch up, but also for all these new people that hopefully you're getting some new followers out of this. You know, maybe some of the new people that start following you can go back and be like, hey, I really liked what you did on day 7, but I want to catch up on what else you did. So now they can go back and see the rest of your posts.
Right. And Aubrico mentions about highlights are helpful for things like this. And also, you know, just putting your own collection together. If you end up learning this skill of creating a highlight, you'll find that you can create highlights from other things as a collection within your own Instagram posts. So we're excited about that people are starting an Instagram account because of this challenge. They're learning how to do highlights. They're learning how to do stories so that they can share this with their friends and family. It's just awesome. I'm so excited.
Also, like we talked about like being intimidated earlier by seeing everyone else's builds. I want to take a little bit of the pressure off because this is something that I grapple with sometimes. Like, one of the really cool things about this, we literally have not stopped talking about like how out of the box everyone's builds have been and how inspiring everyone's builds have been and how we're literally seeing people do things with Lego we've never seen before. It's okay to also, like, I think on day 9 or 10, I'm just going to do a post that's a picture of my sig fig and Ariel's sig figs together with like some accessories that we really like or something. It's okay, you know, take some of the pressure off. Not every build has to be a game-changing, Lego genre-defining build because, you know, like we've seen some really cool stuff like that, but also some of the coolest things that we see are just like, wow, that person drew built like a really dandy mailbox, or like breakfast pieces. I love breakfast. You know, it's like they did like a plate with an egg and a Lego mug, and that was it.
Right.
But I still got hyped for it. So you can literally just take a picture, you know, find 7 bricks that you really like and set them next to each other and take a picture. And someone in our community, it's going to be meaningful to them. So don't think you have to do some big game-changing thing, because even it's literally Lego. The smallest piece can like make a huge difference for someone.
Right. I mean, even the Lego Masters, Boone was talking about that he was, I think, on his 5-day limit, and he said, oh gosh, it's after midnight. I got to post this soon. And he posted a butterfly out of 5 black pieces, and then he made it playful by doing a video and having it land on his hand and kind of moving his hand around so that it would look like it's fluttering. And then Jake Sadovich, he did a take on the Mandalorian, and all he did was he stacked studs in different colors. And that's all he did. It was just, I think, a 6 or 7 stud build. And you could tell which one was the child and which one was Mandalorian. So yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do. Don't be stressed about trying to, you know, be the best with one particular piece. I mean, you could keep it simple, and sometimes the simple ones are the best ones too. Hey, Femme from the Block. Hey, Yano. Welcome to the Daily Brick Limit update.
Yeah, we're only 1 week into it, and like I felt like, do we need to wait longer to do like another live stream? And I'm like, no, because 7 days, plenty has happened. Have Studs Will Travel said something about the mental block of building things, and like I feel that, like, with all the inspiration that's been flowing, like I still sit down and I'm like, 7 is stumping me. It's stumping me. I've tried 3 or 4 different things and it's not happening. Sometimes you just need to start putting pieces together, and when you get to 7, stop and see what you get. So
Yeah, and I need to clip this, but last night on my Twitch stream is when I ended up with this, and I didn't plan this out. It was just like Joriel Builds was saying. I just looked at what are some of my interesting pieces. Like here's one that I was looking at last night, and I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool. What can I do with that?" And here's another one. This came from the Trolls set. This one with the goofy face, right? So I was playing around with a couple of these, and then we, and I had people on my stream, so we were like chatting back and forth. And then one person, I'll just mention, like for example, this is a pin on the end here. And originally I put in an extender, so it was like a pin to pin extender, and then that was adding my piece count. And then we realized that you can put a pin in one of these translucent 2x2 rounds, and then that took my piece count down so I could make it for the right piece count. So that's the kind of thing that's also helpful. Feel free to collaborate with each other. If you're running into an issue and you say, you know, I'm over my piece count, what can I do to reduce it? And Monica, you said you've had such a busy day today, you haven't had much time, but still thinking, yeah, that's fine. And don't worry, you still have a lot of time in the month. I mean, it's only the 7th, right? So we have lots of time.
Yeah.
Catch up on these.
Speaking of collaborating with each other, I'd love to see if anybody has any like strategies they want to share in the comments. Because Ben said something about the higher it gets, the worse it'll be. And honestly, thinking back to last August, it was the same thing. Like, as much as we talk about how hard it is to build a build with 2 bricks, like when I think back to August, like I got through the first week and I got to like 7 or 8, and then I started getting stumped. And then when I joined back in again at like 19, 18, like all of a sudden it seemed like a lot harder. So one of the things that I'm doing is that I'm building things that I wanted to build already that were smaller things, and then just counting the pieces afterwards. So like we did this underwater build recently. I was like, I really want to make like a little like recycling sub for Super Swaddle Baby. That's like, it's like him and this little sub going underwater and he's picking up trash. And so I built it, and then I counted it up later and found out that it was like 28 bricks. So I know sometimes I've been approaching it first of like the number of bricks first, but sometimes you just have to build something that you're already thinking about and then count the bricks and see what day it fits on, and then just save it to post for later.
Right. And that's allowable. As we were talking earlier, some people are planning out their brick builds day by day ahead of time. And going back to strategies too, that some of you have been asking, should I stay with the same theme? Which we've been really excited about, but also don't feel constrained by that, because I think I mentioned last time that I ended up finding this piece that had the lion head that was like something you would see on a castle. And so I started building a castle, even though that's not something that I do. And I remember Joriel Build said, that's a cool castle. It's like, well, thanks. And I put a drawbridge and everything. And I hadn't planned to build a castle that day, but I ended up building one, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. So also just let your own intuition play into this, because sometimes you'll find that, you know, you hadn't planned to do something and you have something else that comes out of it, which is great.
We also talked earlier about some of the awesome things we've seen that people were doing where they took the build from the day before and added a piece to it to advance the story. Like, absolutely, if you build something you loved one day and you're stumped the next day, take what you built the day before and see how you can change it just by adding a single piece to it. Right. That's one thing you can do. And then also, like, I would challenge everybody to take one day, like the day that you're most stumped and have builder's block, no pun intended, the day where you're most stumped, take something, because one of the things that's been creative has been seeing how different people take pieces and imagine them to be something else. You know, build something just to build, put bricks together, share a picture of it, and then ask us what we think that it is, you know, like you're going to get some interesting answers. You can put something together that doesn't make any sense, and we'll still find something really cool about it. So
yeah, definitely. And hi, Lego Thor. Thank you for joining as well. So we're also, if you have questions for us, First of all, I wanted to thank everybody who's joined us today. We will also be rebroadcasting this video on my YouTube page, so we'll be there live answering questions. So we'll broadcast that again. So if anybody wants to, they'll find the video here on IGTV, but we'll also have a spot on YouTube as well.
And that's going to be at about the same time yesterday.
Okay, I'm reading. Monica Berry says, hubby suggested that day 2 to put 2 1x2 plates together like Emmett in the Lego movie.
Click.
You know, it's interesting. The 1x2 plate is Tiago Catarino's favorite element because he says you can build anything out of that. And it's really true. You know, you can build globes. You have lots of curves that you can do from that. So, you know, a 2-piece challenge with a 1x2, 2 of them together is totally doable and valid as well. And the other thing that I found interesting is that people have been taking objects, like you probably saw that I would put a yak next to the banana bowl because it just made it more interesting. So if you see things, you know, like here, I have a water bottle here. So, you know, if you have something that you've built where the water bottle could be a prop to add to your story, then feel free to do that. You know, there's other things that you could be doing outside of Lego that you can incorporate, and we're calling that mixed media. So feel free to add different things to add to your story.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of one of the challenges from Lego Masters US where they took it was the sawed in half challenge, you know. This is like sort of a different route. You could do a mixed media piece where it's like you take Lego and build onto another object in your house and, you know, create something extra that's built on off of another object. It can only have there is a daily limit to the bricks, but your imagination is limitless, is what we said from the original post, is like build something with 7 bricks, but if you need to take those 7 bricks and put them with another object that's not Lego to build off of the story and create something new, then do that. We'd love to see what people can do with those techniques.
Well, that's just
I'd love
your
to,
grip E. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say your grip E is a good example of that, because he created this little robot out of, what, 7 pieces? And that grip E is, he took multiple pictures so you could see this little robot moving around the desktop and then grabbing things and cleaning them up. So also keep in mind that the way you photograph things and the sequence of how you photograph things can make a difference. And another one is, if Avernus Workshop is still here, he did something which was a play off of, I think, a Star Wars movie. And he titled it Rey. And so he took it where it was blurry in the distance, and it kind of looked like it could be the character Rey from the Star Wars movie. And then he did a reverse shot and focused, and it was a manta ray.
I'm glad you said that, because I was literally thinking of that exact same build. I was like, there's something where like the sequence of photos tells the story, you know. For 2 photos, you think, like literally when I saw the post, I saw that you spelled it R-A-Y, and I was like, that's not how you spell her name. And then I started scrolling through the post, and I'm like, oh, like there was a punchline in there. He built a punchline into the build based off of how he sequenced the photos that he took, and it was great.
Right. Abrico mentions that your nieces gave her a box of Lego that they don't play with, and that they had drawings in there too, and she included the drawings. And I think, if I remember right, that was the SpongeBob SquarePants one, I think, that you had posted, where you had these different tiles from the SpongeBob thing, and there was a little drawing of the squid guy that was in there. That was hilarious. That was fun to watch. And those pieces too, I've never seen those pieces. So that was also fun to see.
Yeah, the SpongeBob sets aren't quite as common. Hello, everyone joining us that may have missed some of the beginning. We're just catching up on our week in review of #DailyBrickLimit. I'd love, you know, while we keep talking about some stuff, if there's anybody that has any questions about anything, whether it's the prizes, whether it's about the accounts or following other people or how to do this or what, any questions at all or anything that you want to share or, you know, pick our brains about, or each other in the comments, because as you've seen, you know, so far, it's really a communal thing so far that's evolving out of this. While we keep sharing some things that we saw this week and some things that are yet to come, please put your questions in the comment box because we want to be accessible to you guys and, be able to engage with each other with this. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. And a Vernus workshop talks about sometimes blurry photography works in your favor and works out best. So, yeah.
It's
And play with
mystery.
that. That rack focus is what they call it in the film industry. That you have, and the reason why they call it a rack focus is there's a rack that fits onto the lens of the camera, and you make a special mark so that when you want to focus on one character that's all the way across the room, you move it to the rack mark. And then when it comes back to the forward character, you move it back. And you'll see that a lot in film. And, feel free to use those techniques too, that as you're putting together your images, you may want to focus on something in the background and then the next photo, you focus on something in the foreground. So that's also been exciting for me, is to see people using those techniques too.
Welcome, Moose Bricks and Brick Ninja. Absolutely. And that also brings up the point that it doesn't all have to be one thing. It can be, you have 11 bricks, but you build two things with those 11 bricks. Like it doesn't have to be one thing altogether. So keep that in mind as we add on to the daily brick limit. One other thing that I wanted to add on to what we were talking about earlier, welcome Jake Sadovich, is we want y'all to start including what day it is and how many bricks you used in your post. We talked about that earlier, like on day 12 with 12 bricks, put somewhere in your post, hashtag 12 bricks, or this is day 12. But we'd also love for you guys to start including where you're building from. Somewhere in your post, put hashtag Lego US, hashtag Lego UK, hashtag Lego Australia, because we want to start getting an idea of where people are posting from. So far, we've seen Australia, Brazil, the US, the UK, Portugal. Mm-hmm. It's gone global, and we want to start getting an idea of where everyone is posting from, in addition to what day you're posting on.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We hadn't expected this, and it's funny because I was looking at somebody else's challenge, and they were saying this incentive is for US only. And I hadn't even thought about that because we were thinking, gee, when we get ready to, pull the prizes, we may be shipping some of these overseas, which I'm absolutely happy to do. There's no problem with that. Don't feel that it's going to be an issue. That's part of, why we threw in the incentives, just to see where this was going to go. And I'd be happy to ship something to another country if that's what happens.
Absolutely. Like that's I think one of the coolest things that's come out of this is that it's actually helped a lot of us connect globally. And I can't say that I had any social media friends in Australia a week ago, but here we are 7 days later, and now I have social media friends in Australia. So.
Yeah, we do. And Jake, you just joined. I had just talked about your Mandalorian build of the studs and how you don't have to be very, extravagant with your build as far as doing a lot of different techniques. You could just do something just like that and tell a story. And it was a great rendition just based on your color choices. So thank you for doing that too.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the Lego world building? Because we had a lot of questions about that the last time that we live streamed, and some of the conversation got a little cross-wired.
In fact, it's funny because you had asked me about Super Sewer Baby, and I wanted to thank Joriel Builds too, because I was getting a little confused about where I wanted to take Super Sewer Baby, and I have been getting mixed messages about what to do with Super Sewer Baby. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to take a look and see what's out there. And I found this Tongle World Builder. And last time I said the wrong address. So the address is actually worldbuilder.tongle.com. And I'm not sure if I can type it in here because it's my phone, but if maybe Aubrey can type it for me. But it's worldbuilder as one word .tongal.com. So worldbuilder.tongle.com was launched by Lego as a collaboration with Tongle, the company. And what it is it gives you a chance to create a universe And what I started doing is creating this Super Sewer Baby and the Super Baby Champion League, because I can't use Justice League because that's an intellectual property that DC owns. So one of the things that I've been doing, I mentioned last week that the site was down. The site is back up. So I just have to post a few more photos. But one of the things, if you have been following the Super Sewer Baby Adventures on the Tricky Brick Show, thank you, Brickworm. Okay, yay. She's a mod for me on Twitch. So thank you,
Oh,
Brickworm,
perfect.
for helping us out there. Yeah, so the world builder allows you to create a universe. And then one of the things, if you've been following my my Instagram account, and you could also go to Super Sewer Baby has his own Instagram account. But what you do, oh, you have to go for your birthday? Hey, no problem. Bye. And
Bye.
happy
Happy
birthday to your
birthday to your
daughter.
daughter.
No worries. Yeah, so I posted, for example, the Bananarama jetpack as a vehicle. So you can post vehicles, you can post locations, you can post characters, you can post all of these things. And the best part is that Lego sees this. And if Lego likes your idea, then they will reach out to you and then put it into different phases of production. So I haven't published it yet, because once you publish it, you can't unpublish it for 6 months. So I wanted to make sure that all the characters were there. It's very close to being published. In fact, it will be published before our next update. And then at our next update, then we can give you more information on that. But I will say that I'm very excited because Joriel Builds, we're partnering on this for the Daily Brick Limit. But after this is done, then there's this Tonga World Builder site that we're going to be working on, the Super Sewer Baby and the Super Baby Champion League. And so you'll see more adventures in the future. And oh, Floofy's here. Hey, Floofy. Welcome. Good to see you. Yeah. Oh, and 0937 Superfan, we just talked about Portugal. So this is our Portugal person who has been posting as well. So thank you, Aubrey, for posting that. She's also responsible for the Instagram account for Tricky Lug. And so I knew she would also have all those little she knows all the tricks about putting those little links in. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
was that just happened? You were talking earlier about how a lot of us are learning a lot about not just Lego, but Instagram through
Yeah.
this challenge. So this is a teachable moment for me. I put the website in the question box. Oh my gosh, comments, comments, comments. So you could
That's
bring
okay.
up the question. It will show up in the rebroadcast. Okay, that's awesome. Because I just clicked on
Oh,
that question box and was able to feature that. Did everybody else see that? Like when I did
I
that?
put the website in the question box. So if you bring up the question, it will show up in the rebroadcast. Okay, I'm going to take a screenshot so I can go back and check that later.
So could I just get
Thank
like a
you,
yes
Aubrey.
in the comments if you saw where I featured Aubrey's comment just now with the website posted there? Like, I don't know if that showed up for you or just for me since
No,
I'm
it showed up for
posting.
me too.
Okay,
It was
cool.
like a little window, that pop-up window that showed up with the website. So thank you, Aubrey. Thank you, Brickworm. And also, Brickworm has been involved with the Super Baby Champion League too, because we were talking last week about Super Sound Baby. So she is the creator of Super Sound Baby. And what we're starting with just a really small group. So Joriel Build, myself, and Brickworm are part of the Super Baby Champion League and that whole storyline. And then we'll start looking at, if the one thing nice about the World Builder is that once it's published, if you have ideas for the world, it's very similar to the hashtag, is that if you have ideas for the world, then you can submit it to the architect, and the architect can say, I love this, I want to bring you into the world. Or they might say, it's not quite what we were looking for because, for example, this one may have guns in it, and we didn't want to have guns in this. Can you go back and retool it and come back, and then we'll review it again. So we still need to chat more, Joriel Builds, myself, and Brickworm about the whole Super Baby Champion League. But I can say that stay tuned, because Joriel Builds will be posting the music which is awesome. We
Thank
have
you.
a Super Baby Champion League theme song, and that one will have the photo of Super Sewer Baby, Super Swaddle Baby, Super Sound
Sound
Baby, and Super
baby.
Brainy Baby, right? Those four.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there'll be a photo of that, and then there'll be the music that goes along with it. And then the other thing that he has already done is he's done music for the janitor and the brushies. And so we'll be posting that sometime, I think first on your YouTube channel, right? And then we'll probably do a cross post, or I'll post it up on my site as well. So in the next week or two, I think we'll have that all together.
And that's, I mean, just from my perspective, part of where that came from was just being so inspired by all of Brickanista's builds for tricky lug challenges and everything. Is, I mean, like, you can see from the Daily Brick Limit hashtag all of the Lego baby builds that there are. It's been this Lego baby fever that has captivated Tricky Lug for months now and isn't
Yeah.
going away anytime soon. And it's just, it's the storytelling that came from your ideas and inspired all of these other people, and then created this whole network of creators and collaborators. So, you know, another thing about this, you see somebody else whose builds really inspire you, please, reach out to them and try to find some other ways to collaborate with your fellow Daily Brick Limit friends, because that collaboration is one of the best parts of the Lego community. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
imagine like the creativity that's going to come out of you working with somebody else's whose builds you admire. And like the fact that you're one click away from collaborating with an actual Lego master is something that's really cool about Instagram in general. So,
Yeah. Well,
look for
that's
those
why
collaborations.
I have you to thank too, because of you and Brickworm, I have to say both of you were so encouraging to me about Super Sewer Baby that I didn't give up. Because there was one point where I was ready to just say, I'm done with these stories. People don't want to hear them anymore, or
We
they
want to hear
say
them.
I take too long to sell my stories. And I'm like, this is how I create. It's like I like to say the backstory. I like to say what everything's happening. So thank you so much. You and Brickworm were so instrumental in helping me make that decision to start posting this onto the World Builder. And I'm really excited about that. And just like you said, if you encourage one person, they may be at a point where they're thinking, I build this Lego, but I do it for me, but does anybody else really think it's any good? And I think it's important that we encourage each other. I mean, be honest. Don't just say something is nice just to be nice, but be really truly genuine in the things that you see and how we can help each other. Because I know Super Sewer Baby was close to being flushed down the drain, if we want to go through the pun. It was close to being flushed. And it really was your music that brought me back,
Aw.
because you said, when you also sent a note saying, I wrote a theme song for the brushies and the janitor, and I never asked you for that. You just decided to do that. I was like, that is so sweet. And I can't wait for everybody to hear it, because it is
Aw,
so much
thanks.
fun. It's so much fun. So I know that now that we've declared it, we're going
Yeah.
to do that within the next week, right?
Yes,
We
it's
will
going to
get the
happen
World
within the
Builder
next week.
site up, and then we'll have the music up so you can listen to it. And then we'll do these weekly updates for this primarily for Daily Brick Limit, but maybe on the back end we'll add the update for the World Builder too.
And that's something that just, again, came out of being inspired by Brickanista's characters and her storytelling. That's 31 days, 31 builds, just, to start wrapping things up. There's so much that you're going to create that you really feel proud of and latch onto yourself. And I've really enjoyed seeing some of the characters that other people have created so far. So, whatever it is, even if it gets 5 likes and 0 comments, if it's something that really inspired you or touched you, build off of it. Literally build upon it, because the little characters that everyone creates, those are things that people rally around. People have rallied around Super Sewer Baby to the point that so many people in Tricky Lug have created their own Super Baby characters now to chip in. So Take the
Yeah.
characters that you build, hold on to them. You don't have to deconstruct your build when you're done. See if there's anything, if there is one thing in these 31 builds this month that you felt proud of or that you want to see more of. I promise you that if you invest in that, then it's going to create something that other people want to see more of too. So latch onto those characters, hold on to them, see what more stories you can tell. Because even though we're saying try to build something different every day, the people that are doing something where they add on to the build every day, it's creating that continuity that creates story. And we're all latched on. We go back to the hashtag to see, I want to see what happens to KK Bricks' plant next. Or
Right.
that one build that looks like a treasure map where it's literally a treasure build, you know, that's a treasure map that's unfolding. I want to see where it goes next. Or, wow, I don't know if she's still here, but Femme from the Block's outer space storyline.
Yes, I love that. And I think that what you were saying too about storylines, you know, I brought back Super Sewer Baby here, and I'm thinking, okay, where is he off to? Who's he going to meet? So stay tuned for another episode.
It's
Yeah.
further inspiration for yourself and for your collaborators and your new Instagram friends that, you know, we're all making right now. And it's been a pleasure for us to interact with you guys and to see your inspiration because, you know, again, I'm seeing people do things with Lego that I've never seen people do before. And I think it's a huge tribute to you guys' creativity and inspiration and your ability to say, okay, I have these 3 bricks. How can I do something unexpected with that? And it's been really humbling for me this week to see all of that happen. So
Yes.
thank you to
Definitely.
everyone for participating.
Yeah, thank you. Femme from the Block. I'm just going through the list here. Pedro. Let's see. My machine is Rick, Brickham, Brickworm, Fluffy, Commodore Duckapata, or no, Commodore Kopaka. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I get that right. Floofy, I think, Aubrey. All of you guys have just been great. So thank you.
And
Devzilla. That's a cool name too.
yes, I thought that was a nice name when you joined in. It's been a pleasure getting to see everybody's builds. We are going to try to host at this time on Thursdays just to give you guys more updates and to sort of celebrate some of the things we've been seeing. But we are also streaming on, we're doing a live premiere on YouTube on Brickanista's channel
we're just
tomorrow.
going to premiere this. So it'll be the same video, but we'll be live answering questions. So if anybody missed it today, they can either listen to this recording again on IGTV. We won't be there to answer your questions, but tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, we'll broadcast it on my YouTube channel. And you can find the link. Maybe I need Brickworm to help again, but tinyurl.com/Brickanista-YouTube. They won't let me have the Brickanista label or the URL until that. But I also want to shout out to Dreamy Dynamic and Monica Berry and Brick Miscellany, Lego Thor, Chaz699. All of you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you, Brickanista, for being an awesome co-host. It's been a great week together. So thank you for letting us pick this up again and try it again in January because it's made January awesome so far. So
yes, definitely.
Like Floofy said, we'll see y'all in the hashtag. We're 3 days away from prize eligibility, so keep building and keep posting. Play well, and we'll see you guys next time. So
see you next week or tomorrow.
Take care. Bye, Brickanista. Thank you.
Bye, Joriel Builds.